Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another one of our impromptu live updates from the Charnwood Forest Geopark. We join you on an absolutely spectacular day today, live from Hill Hole, a local nature reserve in Hinckley and Bosworth that is also next to the beautiful village of Markfield. It has a wonderful geological history, more recent history to tell, and just a fascinating place to visit. But before we get on to the reasons why I have brought you here today, let's just have a look around. It is an absolutely astounding day, and definitely a day, if you can, to get out and explore a little more of Charnwood Forest. Just to tell you what you can see from the trig point up here at Hill Hole, I can look directly over to the beautiful Bradgate Park. I can see the memorial over there at Bradgate Park. As I spin round, I can also take in the summit at Beacon Hill. We've got Coptoke, you might be able to see in the background, and then right behind me over here, the resplendent Barden Hill, 278 metres above sea level, the highest point in Leicestershire, and a site of special scientific interest for many little biological things, including the Charnwood spider, but also because of its fantastic rocks. But it's not just Charnwood we want to see from the top of Hill Hole here next to Markfield, because Charnwood Forest is the unexpected upland of Britain, and if you're going to explain the upland, you better explain what's around it that makes it such an upland. And from this point, on a day like this, you can look across much of the rest of the Midlands. I can stand here and look all the way across to Cannock Chase, taking in, you can see the antenna on the top of Pye Green of Cannock Chase, and looking south directly from where I'm standing here, I can see the skyscrapers in the centre of Birmingham. So on a day like this, you really have to find any excuse you can to come up here and explore one of perhaps the under-recognised sites in our Charnwood Forest Geopark. I should say, if you have any questions for me today, do pop them in the comments. We'll be on for maybe another 5 or so minutes. So if you've got any questions or comments, if you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, if you put those in the comments, they'll pop up on my little device here, and I might be able to answer some of those for you. But the reason I'm joining you from here today is just to say that if you weren't already listening to BBC Radio Leicester around 11:30 a.m. today, then you might want to pop onto BBC Sounds and listen to that. I joined Aminata, who's presenting today, and we talked about a very special rock that's found here. I'm not going to spoil the fun because I want you to tune in to Aminata's show, 11:30, and it was this morning, and I tell you about a story of a very special rock here from Markfield called Markfieldite, how it formed around 560 million years ago, and then why a beautiful chunk of it is now on display in the Melodal Natur- and Geopark in Luxembourg, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where a little chunk of Leicestershire is now on display. So do tune in to Aminata's show and hop onto BBC Sounds, and around 11:30 there was an interview that we did live from here. And I should say, it's not just the rocks that make this site so important. Behind me, you might be able to see that there is a pool of water. This is where the former quarry workings were flooded. It often happens when you abandon a quarry, and this has formed a beautiful haven for the native crayfish. Native crayfish under threat from an invasive species, and little havens like this provide a home where they can go about they're living their life. So also important, and that is just a spectacular example of how geodiversity, the variety of the rocks and soils and fossils and the non-living elements of nature all around us, how they impact on biodiversity. And so if you're particularly keen on conserving biodiversity, have a think about what you can do to conserve geodiversity, because the two are inextricably intertwined. Right, before I go, I don't think we've got any comments yet. I can see a few of you are joining us live, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today on such a sunny day in Charnwood Forest Geopark. I just wanted to remind everyone about some wonderful events that we've got coming up. So you might have noticed that the Charnwood Forest Geopark team is putting on a number of events as part of the National Forest Walking Festival. If you Google or use any of your preferred search engines to search for National Forest Walking Festival, you'll find a host of hiking and walking opportunities all across the National Forest, stretching from Needwood in Staffordshire to Charnwood Forest in Leicestershire. But today I just wanted to remind you about some of the ones that are coming up. We already did our Geological Wonders of Shepshed walk on Sunday. There's a walk going on as we speak in Beacon Hill, put on by the Charnwood Forest Geopark with support from our wonderful friends at Charnwood Arts. Do make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. They do wonderful, wonderful work, and we're most grateful for the work they do to support our Geopark. And we have some coming up as well. So if you'd like to join me for a real leg stretcher on Saturday, make sure you book in by emailing Zoe. As I say, do Google it and search for it and find it on the Trek website. It is the Charnwood Peaks Geology Tour, a travel through time. We'll be starting off at Bradgate Park, Newton Limford car park at around 9 a.m. and we will be going on a 16-mile big trek through time, taking in pretty much, or not quite all, but many of the beautiful rocks and indeed landscapes and views that we can find here in the Charnwood Forest Geopark. So if you'd like to join us, there are still some places available. Do go onto the website and email. There's the email addresses on the booking for that. And you just drop Zoe or myself an email and we will get you booked in. But that's not all. There are also, from the Charnwood Forest team, we have a walk coming up led by the brilliant Susan Kilby, who is the education officer in the Charnwood Forest team. And she's going to be taking people on a walk around and teaching you a little bit about the place names of Charnwood Forest, so you can learn what's behind a name, what's in a name. You might like to know more about why some of the wonderful villages and towns of Charnwood Forest are called what they are, and Susan is going to explain it all to you. And the other walk we have is with our project manager, Julie Attard, who's going to be taking you around Ulverscroft, Unexpected Ulverscroft, I think it's called. Apologies, Julie, if I've got the title wrong, but it's going to be telling you all about the hidden treasures of Ulverscroft. And again, you can find that on the National Forest Trek website. So thank you very much to all those who have joined us live today from Hillhole Nature Reserve. And it just goes to show you that if you want to experience some of the wonder of Charnwood Forest, you can, of course, go to Bradgate Park and the Outwards and Beacon Hill, and they are wonderful places and there to be celebrated. But let's also step out of those three and go to somewhere brilliant like this, just outside of Markfield. It's a wonderful, wonderful day, and get out there and explore the wonders of the landscape of Charnwood Forest. Thanks for joining us again, and we will see you all soon.